All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Vinny Presents. And today, our special guest is none other than Sexy Chef Wendy Lane. She is coming out with some beautiful hot sauce that I've tried. And let me tell you, let me just show you right here. First of all, you're using one of my favorite peppers, habanero. It's
Awesome.
beautiful, simple, and very tasty ingredients. I love it. But you're a woman of many trades. But let's leave the floor up to you. So, welcome to the program, Wendy. Please tell us all about yourself.
Thank you so much, Vinny, for having me on your show. I'm so excited, and I'm a big fan of yours. So
Thank you. Likewise.
this is super fun. And you're in Philly where it's freezing cold. I'm usually either in Hawaii or Arizona. My family is from Hawaii, so that's a lot of the influence on my food. If anyone follows my Chef Wendy culinary page, you can see that a lot of my food has sort of a South Pacific flair to it. So that's really why, because that's really been my influence in my cooking. I had a mother and grandmother that grew literally every fruit and vegetable. And of course, in Hawaii, we can grow everything exotic, you name it, So it really has had a large influence on my cooking style and my overall style. So that's sort of where everything began with me. I would say literally from childhood, super, super shy kid, which people are like, are you kidding me? But I was really shy and introverted and very kind of to myself. And I just mulled around in the gardens, and my mother had me cooking literally for the family, full meal by the time I was like 14. That was one of my weekly assignments. So I really learned how to cook, I would say, garden to table. And I really learned to acquire quite the palate, actually, just because we grew everything. So it was never really like there's a recipe. My mother just let me experiment in the kitchen. So it's been actually a really wonderful part, of my journey. But I started, I would say, chefing as a very young age, and then I got scouted when I was at the same age cooking for my mother. I got scouted from a modeling agent, and I sort of took off on a career with that, modeling and acting. And I would say throughout my entire life, my two passions in life have been being in front of the camera and cooking. And I created Sexy Chef just truly from that, my passions. I just came up with this thought of people used to always kind of not tease me, but think it was kind of cute as as modeling. They'd call me the chef in heels because I always wore high heels in the kitchen. What can I say? I'm a girl that likes stilettos. So I which was the birth of Sexy Chef Wendy. So I thought, hey, people kind of are intrigued that I can do that, run around in heels, grocery shop, carry kids, cook in heels. So I thought it'd be really interesting to explore this brand that I created, Sexy Chef Wendy. And my whole idea was to empower women to be sexy no matter what, no matter, with kids, without kids, whatever, wherever you are in life, and to inspire couples to cook together because, food and love have really enticed all of the same senses. And for me, being in the kitchen, cooking just with my grandmother, my family, my lovers, my husbands, my boyfriends, whoever, it's always been a place, my girlfriends, my kids, it's been a place of real true intimacy where you really like have true conversations. And it's kind of non-threatening because, you'll be, especially like in Hawaii, growing up around all these beautiful, like lemongrass and Thai basil, these different kind of herbs that are very aromatic. It's really a fun way just to sort of introduce somebody to cooking, just cut up the beautiful herbs and let them smell it and just take it from there.
Well, I think we share a lot of things in common, particularly the love of kitchen, the love of freshly grown ingredients. My parents came over from Italy, so, we really tended to kind of grow our own stuff, even though, in a row home in South Philly, we had a little alleyway, which we made into our little garden with, little basil and tomatoes and different things in pots. But of course, Hawaii, God, it's you can grow anything. It's a beautiful thing, very fertile. So I share the passion with good, fresh ingredients from farm or alleyway to plate. And so the one thing that I have to say is I love you have a very unique quality about you. I love the way you mesh everything as far as just making everything very beautiful and just if anyone, and please I highly recommend that everyone watches and make sure you follow Wendy Lane here on Instagram, social media. I'm pretty sure you're on Facebook as well, or you on just
I'm everywhere, Vinny. All you have to do is Google Sexy Chef Wendy. You'll find me
so.
almost everywhere. Not everywhere, but almost.
Well, we'll make sure we put links, obviously. So make sure you go in the description box and follow her and support her. But the point is when you see, if you haven't already, her amazing dish. I mean, it's artistic the way you put these dishes together. They very beautiful pictures and delicious. And I think now with the advent of social media, people are returning to the kitchen, and you don't have to be a pro, and you can just watch a person like yourself and learn some really great recipes and tricks and take things to a new level.
Absolutely. And by the way, I love that you had an alleyway garden. And this is a message that I tell people: don't get hung up on if I don't have a house. I don't have, it doesn't matter if you live in an apartment, where you live. One of my daughters in California has, it's like a tower of herbs. It's some device that waters itself, but she has every herb in that tower. So, I love that you were that creative, and it's fun. I mean, I know you probably understand this. Like, it's really fun to watch something grow that you planted. I mean, there's something very satisfying in that as well. And then, you have a relationship with your food, actually. So I love that. But yeah, I thank you so much for the compliments and the kudos. My father is an artist, and my mother's a chef, so it just was going to happen. I mean, I was so influenced by my father's paintings, and if you've seen any of my videos, all the paintings behind me are from my dad, and the colors are very vibrant. So it just formulated for me very young. For me, the plate is a piece of art, and having access to going in my mother's. I'm in Arizona now, but I go back and forth to Arizona and Maui, which leaving tomorrow. But there's every kind of beautiful exotic flower just growing naturally, so you can just go cut it and put it on the plate. And that's just sort of how it began for me. I looked at it as a piece of art because I already knew the food was going to taste great. But I think when you have that visual, people, it's like chemistry with a person. If you present yourself a certain way, and it's just like it's so important. That first impression. And it's always a compliment for any chef, I think, when someone brings out their camera and starts photographing their food. So that's always in my mind.
Well, presentation, of course. I mean, that's a major part of it. Of course, the taste. I worked in the food industry, food and beverage. I always was front of the house, as they say, but I always spent more time, I think, in the back of the house because I always had this affinity for food. My mom, and a lot of this stuff was as they call they refer to it now as cucina povera, which is like your poor kitchen is what it translates to. But
Yeah.
very good rustic, old school Italian meals with a lot of flavor, a lot of impact. But I was always drawn to the back of the house, and I cook. Whenever I have a chance, I like to cook, and I think for me, just like you said, I like to grow. I have certain tomatoes that are heirloom tomatoes that I grow only by seed, and I still can't get over. And I tell my kids this all the time, how you can get this little tiny thing, even a basil seed, and it grows in this massive, delicious, with enough care, it grows into a beautiful thing. So yeah, I think it's something very spiritual when it comes to cooking and gardening and that whole thing. It's really, in this brief existence that we have, it's really nice to make make that experience happen for yourself and your family.
I couldn't agree with you more. If I could, I would spend all day literally barefoot in the garden. I'm not kidding. I'm so impressed and inspired by nature, and it is a spiritual experience. And when what you're saying is just so respectful too, because I know you're consuming this, but the food, but it's going to continue to grow. But it really is so holistic and beautiful. And I think part of my message, big part of my message as a chef, did I lose you?
Sorry,
Okay.
we had a little
You
yeah,
left,
sorry.
you
It's
left
all
me,
right.
Vinny. I
Some
got
no,
scared.
sometimes we get glitches. That's okay.
I know. Don't ever leave me again, please. Um,
Thank you. It
oh
feels good
God.
somebody cares.
So I really it's a message that I really try to get across. Eating holistic, natural foods is really the only way to live, and we've really stepped into a culture, especially in the United States, very processed foods, colored, a lot of different chemicals, hormones that you don't even, if you can't even pronounce it, trust me, don't put that in your body. But the more that we can lean into holistic, natural foods, it is our bodies. It is spiritual. This is our temple. It's really quite, important. I think as a human being to resonate with that part, and it's not just, it's not just food. This is keeping us alive. It's what makes us, think clearly. It makes us, you left me again, Minnie. Oh my gosh. Maybe it's the snowstorm in Philly. I don't know if I should keep talking. Vinny. Hey, Vinny. Maybe this is part of your skit.
Hold on one second, Wendy. I'm having a little bit of an issue. Hold on one second.
That's okay.
Oh boy. That's okay. We'll make it work.
Just tell me. There you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I wasn't sure if
I
we
didn't
were.
want to keep rambling just in case.
No, you're good. What we're gonna do is pick it up from. I remember you saying about the holistic, and then that's when we the feed got cut. I'm sorry. It's on my
That's
end.
okay.
But all right,
I'll just pretend like you just told me about it's a spiritual thing from there.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more when you speak about, growing your own vegetables and fruit. It's a spiritual thing. Even, the food that we put in our body is very important. And we're really living in a culture today, especially in the United States, where foods are, they're colored. There's all kinds of chemicals. You can't even pronounce the name. I would never put anything in my body with 50 letters and I can't say the word. The hormones, all of the things that are put into our foods that are really creating brain fog. It's creating illnesses and aggression and all the different kinds of things that we're not really aware of. So the more we lean into holistic, fresh foods, not only will you feel better and look better, you'll just have a better mindset. And like I said, it's truly, it is a spiritual experience. And getting in the garden, and whether it's your alley or in your house, really just connecting with nature is really quite important, actually.
Listen again. I couldn't agree with you more. And growing up, we just it, we really didn't know any better. Many of us. And we just God, I still can't believe I ate some of the candy I ate, some of the junk I ate. I mean, really, I'm surprised I'm not in worse shape. And of course, being a Philly, cheesesteaks and all kinds of fast food and different things. But you're absolutely right, and I think there's something to be said about the high levels of aggression that you witness out there these days, and the link to food and what's in our atmosphere and our air and our water and very low vibrations and the fact that we're so stressed out and angry. Yes, I mean everybody's stressed because it's not easy. It's not easy in general. You work and having kids, there's a lot of stress, but
Yeah.
the food is so contaminated in so many ways and it's almost like a second job for me to try to figure out what to feed myself and my family.
You're right. And the thing is, it's important though that you take that effort, because it's like, if you had a Rolls Royce, you're not going to put, low grade oil or crappy gasoline in it. You're going to give it to make so it can function properly. You have to think of our bodies like that. And the truth is, like you said, I mean, it is a job now because there's so many things being thrown at us. Our parents did not have all these options of fast food restaurants. At least my mother actually forbid me to eat in fast food restaurants. I know that the way I grew up was not normal for everybody because my mom cooked everything. We grew everything. We didn't have sugar in our house. My father was diagnosed as a hypoglycemic. He was a recovering alcoholic. So I think I was the benefactor of that, actually, of that diet, you know, because I really learned how important it is to eat proper foods. And for me personally, if I went to a show last night and I had not had popcorn in years. I don't know why I thought I could have popcorn. I got the bag and took one bite and I had to throw it out. I felt like chemicals and salt like hurt my mouth, you know. So I've really trained my palate and my body to adapt to a certain way, and anyone can do it at any age. No one should beat themselves up and say I shoulda, coulda, woulda. You just have to start today, really, you know, just start today.
Yeah, and you know what? They can get a very good lesson by watching you and following your page and learning a lot of good tricks. And I mean that not just as a you know, like since you're in front of me, but really, I mean, I've learned a lot from watching a lot of your videos, and it's a beautiful thing. And
Thank
again,
you.
your presentation's spot on, and it's healthy, and it's a beautiful thing.
Thanks. Yeah, super fun. Yeah, no, the hot sauce, you know, this was my first love was Sexy Chef, my first creation. And I partnered with my partner's 90 years old. I love him. Crazy Ed is his name. And
I like him. I like him already.
I know. Listen. I have so many people approach me, but I don't know. This guy, when he said, "How would you feel about collaborating with a hot sauce? I think it'd be really great for Sexy Chef." And I was like, "That sounds like a great idea." I met with him. He's lovely, and he's also an example of someone just living life joyfully, eating well. He's 90. He's sharp as a tack. And anyway, so we started this venture, Sexy Chef hot sauce. It's a 2-week fermented habanero mash with key lime, a little bit of garlic and salt. Super simple, as you know. And the heat, it's spicy, but it comes and then it gently leaves as well. So I recommend it basically on anything. I actually put it on watermelon. It's great with my chocolate strawberry balsamic. It's like a cheat sheet for chocolate mole. You can make it in 2 seconds rather than 8 hours. So I also have this chocolate strawberry balsamic, which is a dark Modena Italian balsamic, which you probably are familiar with that.
Yes.
And it's infused with French cacao powder and fresh strawberry juice. So these are my two, I'd say, my star products, especially the hot sauce, because who doesn't love hot sauce?
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because I have, and you were so nice enough to send me one. Here it is, everyone. Let me get the camera there. And I'll tell you what, I had it last night for the first time. And I'll tell you what, it was great. It wasn't like, it was a perfect balance. It wasn't too hot. It was just the right amount of hotness. And I had it on some chicken, I even had it on some beef, and which I don't eat very often as far as beef, but it was fantastic. Really. I mean, I'm really going to make sure I support you because this is just excellent. And I don't use much hot sauce in my food anymore, but this is this is perfectly balanced. So I highly recommend it.
Yeah, add it to your guacamole. You can just smash an avocado, throw a little sea salt, squeeze lime, throw in my hot sauce, and you're done. And it's great. It really is great on everything. And I'm not kidding you. You should try it on watermelon. I talk about a party in your mouth. I mean, this is it's like sweet and spicy, and it's got kind of all the elements going there. It's really quite spectacular.
And traditionally, I mean, obviously hot wings, which I don't really eat. I don't eat them frequently, but now we'll go get a major, huge, humongous bag that I used to get in my teenage years, and I'm gonna try it with some of your hot sauce.
100%. It's all, and then I'll get you some of my balsamic. This is really truly my favorite product because it sounds a little weird at first, like chocolate and strawberry balsamic, but it blends so beautifully. It's another product, Epicurean Seasons, which is, you see their products in Whole Foods all over the country. the owner of that company is in Arizona, and he contacted me on his executive chef series line. He calls it the Sexy Chef series line, but it's a product that only, we have it's a proprietary product with them that I have. They asked me to come in and create something, and I thought, because strawberries symbolize love, and chocolate does too. It's an aphrodisiac, so I thought that'd be kind of fun to blend that together, and it really is amazing. You can slow cook it with ribs, or you can put it on your favorite ice cream or fruit. Like I said, mix it with the hot sauce. That's quite an experience with a beautiful filet over it. So good.
That sounds amazing. Now, let me ask you a question. Could I don't know the consistency of that product, but can you reduce it a little bit and like drizzle it over maybe over something?
Absolutely, yes. And I've done that with mushrooms. Yeah, you can reduce it. You just have to, you know how to, as long as you know how to reduce. You don't want to have it, you don't want to keep it so high that it's going to burn it. But, you just, but it has like it's not super thick, but it has enough of a consistency that you can kind of get away with not doing that as well.
Okay, just as is. Great, great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
there's something to be said. I mean, we've talked so far about the food aspect of things, but it's very very nice that you're, the whole business aspect of what you're doing and how you're offering these beautiful products to people. How is that on a business standpoint? I mean, how long have you been doing it?
Okay, well, I started the brand, Sexy Chef, almost a decade. I can't believe it's been that long. It goes like that. But I started originally with the intent of I wanted a cooking show. I wanted to show people, you can entice love and be sexy in the kitchen, and, kind of bring them together. So along that journey, it just sort of took on a life of its own. So people started, when I first approached some producers, they're like, well, people don't know who Sexy Chef is. So I just went on social media and literally knew nothing about it. And Instagram was barely even birthed yet, maybe not even a decade ago, barely there. But I just dove in hardcore and became quite good at it, actually. So much to my surprise. So I've really leaned into social media as a business tool for myself. It's really how everything has happened for me. Even, these two products that I was found through social media. So I'm realistic, you're in show business too a little bit, you can't really depend on that show happening. So you have to have other streams of revenue happening. So I knew that I had to create some kind of business around it. So I started with the hot sauce, and then I did some private catering in Los Angeles, and I actually opened up a ghost kitchen in Scottsdale, Arizona during COVID lockdown. And so I'm just constantly stretching myself. I am not a professionally trained chef. But I have all the credentials that I need, to run the kitchen and have a restaurant. But I realized going along the path of this journey, you have to keep being open-minded to learn. Because I certainly didn't know how to run. I didn't know what kind of how I was going to run a business or how this was going to happen. I really didn't. So I kind of just stumbled into it, and I'm very open-minded and realized that constantly educating yourself, constantly being aware, and really appealing to your followers, your customers. I mean, because the bottom line is they're the ones that are going to, keep you going.
Well, and just like I've been saying for quite a while now, is we've never had this type of opportunity to create our own audience. I mean, obviously years ago, you depended on, hopefully, maybe if you go and you find an agent or somebody that can get you into a program, or now you could just create your own audience. It's a beautiful thing. I've met so many people. I've been doing this for like a year, just like social media in general, and it's amazing the beautiful people I've met, including yourself, and just wonderful, wonderful people. And if you have a little bit of ability, or you learn to grow your abilities, you can grow an audience, and then that could lead to bigger and better things. One last thing I want to say too is what I love about what you're doing is you have not only put together beautiful things, but you've had the courage to go ahead and make your dreams happen, and just keep pushing and just make. I mean, obviously, you come out with two of. I'm sure there's more than two, but you have two products you showed us today, and that's not an easy thing to do. So you've accomplished a lot. It's really it's a wonderful thing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think that's if I'd say to anybody, I mean, if you want to do something, the biggest thing that'll stand in your way is fear. I for some reason don't have fear. It doesn't exist in me. I know that I don't know everything. That's the other thing. Humility and gratitude is super important. And just keep going, I'm impressed by you. Actually, only a year. I mean, it's not easy to build up a social media following to get that kind of attention. And you're well aware of that because you've done quite a job in just a year. And it takes a lot of work and time and energy, but it is so much fun. I mean, I love creating my videos. My Sexy Chef Wendy is my brand. It's a little more sexy. My Chef Wendy Lane Instagram shows all of my food because I do get that question, are you actually a chef? I really am. Um, and that really is my passion. I absolutely love putting together a spread for people. I love doing I do a lot of private, intimate events. I did a wedding party for a 85-year-old couple last weekend. And in a way, like when I meet a client or somebody that wants me to cook for them, I really read them, and my food, I never really plan exactly how it's going to turn out, but I try to figure out where they're coming from and just create something that's specifically for them.
Well, and again, we're going to put links in the description box. So everybody watching this, please make sure you follow those links. Make sure you're following Wendy. And if you happen to need a wonderful private chef, I wish you were in my neck of the woods, because I would definitely enjoy a nice house party and have you cooking those delicious meals. But please, I highly encourage all of you to make sure you hire her if you're within that area. Do you do just Arizona with the private parties, or?
No, I travel. I mean, I go to Maui. I'm there quite a bit. My family's there, but I go there quite a bit. I do events there. But California, Colorado, Texas. I have traveled. I mean, honestly, I just all I need is a place to cook. It doesn't even have to be a big fancy kitchen either. It's just um, I do travel. If the job is right, I'll do that.
Great. Right. Well, that's listen. And I know I have a friend that does that too, and he'll jump on a plane and go cross country, and he's got great food, so they hire him. So I think that's really exciting too. I mean, if I could do that, that'd be really cool. But I'm kind of locked down on what I'm doing right now. All right.
Well,
Well,
I can't
listen.
wait to see. I can't wait for your show because I don't know. You guys definitely make my day for sure. I always look for your content. Makes me laugh. It's so creative and so fun, and uh, it really is quite. Imagine I don't know. 20 years ago, there's no way that we would have met. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it's just so amazing, social media. If you use it correctly, it really can be such an incredible tool to meet somebody, across the country and have an affinity. It's really an incredible thing.
I can't get over. I think about that every day, and I've made so many friends and learned so many things just using. So that is the beautiful part of social media. If you use it correctly, it actually works really well.
Yeah.
And as a shameless plug for those of you who don't know, she's talking about this right here is the Pasta and Cheese Crew, which is we're starting to film in March or April this spring. But it's going to be a series or maybe a movie. We're going to see. It's a short movie, but hopefully we'll get a series out of it. But that's my little shameless plug, just so you know the context of what we're speaking about. But thank you for supporting me, Wendy, and I love everything you're doing. I'm going to continue to follow you, and you got yourself a new customer here.
Awesome. Well, you never
So
know. Cheech and the crew, they may need a chef from Arizona.
hey, listen, maybe we could work something out.
I think it'd be super fun. You guys need a little bit of extra spice there, don't you think?
I agree, and we might make an appearance on the West Coast sometime this year. So we'll make sure we give you notice if you're in if you happen
Super
to be around.
fun.
Well, Wendy, is there any last words you want to just tell the guests, or anything else that we missed?
No, just thank you so much. Make sure you follow me. You can get my products, my hot sauce. spicy, my sweet chocolate strawberry balsamic, you can go to my website, SexyChefWendy.com. Make sure that you follow my Sexy Chef Wendy Instagram page, which will take you to all my other social media. There's a link tree in there that'll take you also to my Chef Wendy Lane, cooking page, which I really am trying to push that more because I really want my audience to see more of my food as well. So that's it. Sexy Chef Wendy. You can Google me, find me anywhere, and I'd love for you to order some hot sauce.
Well, again, friends, if you haven't already, please jump on this Wendy Lane train right now because it's amazing product and she's an amazing person. I really enjoy everything you're doing. I totally agree with everything you said as far as being healthy and growing if you can, and just it's a lesson that also for life, right? Just positivity and healthy, and that's where we're going. That's what we need more of in this current time. So our guest again, ladies and gentlemen, has been Sexy Chef Wendy Lane. Make sure you follow her. All the links will be in the description box. It's been an absolute pleasure. Now I'm starving, so I want to go downstairs. I want to make something and put some of this wonderful hot sauce on it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wendy, and we'll see you again hopefully soon. Take care.
Take care.